Hi guys, welcome to today's service. It's great to have you here this morning. If you're new, we just want to send out a special hello to you and thank you for joining our service. I'm Charlotte.
And I'm Annika.
And we're one of the few pastors of this church. We are all meeting together and we've got some big ideas for what the community do during isolation.
And something really special about this service is it's going to be run by the Vibers. They're going to be leading us in some songs and we'll chat to them a bit later on.
And don't worry, Nick's Nuggets is going to be happening soon. And also, some of our Vibers will be telling us what they've been doing in isolation. Also, Pete, one of the other pastors, will give us a quick wrap-up of what's happening in the last couple of weeks.
And now it's time for a 1-minute challenge.
Yay!
We want you to play your phones, go through your contacts, and see if there's anyone you haven't chatted to recently. Give them a call, talk to them, ask how their day is going, and maybe ask them to invite them at church.
So, we really hope you enjoy today's service. We're going to give it over to the team. Make sure you comment
and like.
Oh, I come before you, who am I that you would care to hear me? Yet I come unto you and I bow before you, I cry to your mercy seats. Oh, with hope I am calling, 'cause many are fallen. For you came to set the captives free. Let us shine.
God be merciful to us and bless us. Look on us with kindness, so that the whole world may know your will, so that all nations may know your salvation. May the people praise you, O God. May the people praise you. Hello everyone, welcome to this service today. We're going to sing alive.
everyone, we are the Riggs family. I am Maddie.
I'm Charlotte.
And I'm Josh.
And we're here to answer Playford's most burning questions. What have you been doing more of or less of?
I've been playing a lot more music, especially with guitar and piano, and also seeing lots of people with happy birthday because we normally don't have enough time to do that.
Yeah. I think probably a lot more socialising on Zoom and just catching up with old friends.
I've spent a lot of time running and doing fitness work and doing a lot more schoolwork as well, which has been great with the extra time.
I've been playing a lot more with the dog because there's heaps of time to, and I'm sure she appreciates it a lot.
Doing a lot more cleaning and sorting out my room.
I've been making a lot more crafts and doing projects.
I've been reading a lot, like a lot.
More of sleep, less of going out.
One thing I've definitely been doing more of is sleeping, catching time to just meditate my brain and my body, getting away from social media or the internet. And another thing I've been doing is catching up and spending more time with my family to connect the bond and, build a strong relationship with them.
It hasn't been that bad. Get to hang out more with the family, and I also found out that they're not all that boring.
Well, I've been doing more garden work around the house, and I've also learned how to play new instruments.
I've been doing more gardening, baking and sleeping, and I've been doing less of schoolwork.
Is there something new you have discovered?
The world can be a really nice place at times, and people will care for each other when they really need it.
I've learned that I shouldn't take things for granted.
I've discovered new activities that I can do whilst at home, and I've learned how to do video VFX.
I have discovered more about God. I took time to read my Bible more and really focus now because I have more time.
I've exercised quite a lot. I've read many books, and I've also played many board games.
I've discovered that I like just having time for myself, if that's just reading or just playing guitar. And I think that's helped a lot, especially with all the busyness of the start of the year.
I think I'm not built for socialisation, social isolation. Yeah.
I think I've learned the wonderful world of time management and organisation and getting things done early so that you can have more time to just hang out.
And also, me and Josh have created a Dude Perfect YouTube thing where we'll be trying to throw a ball over the roof and into the bucket.
So get keen for our first video.
If we even make it, so you just stay tuned.
I found out that I have a green thumb, unlike Mum's black thumb and everyone else's black thumb. I have great nana and every great grandparent's genes.
What do you like about gardening?
Seeing them grow, like it's just gone boop, 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 boop.
Trouble won't throw me, won't break me, won't scare me no more. Oh, fear must have thought I was faithless when it came from my heart. I got a song that will never die. I know your love is the reason why. I'll sing the night into the morning. I'll sing the fear into your praise. I'll sing my soul into your presence. Whenever I say your name, the devil no, not today. Tell me, did the enemy panic as you took up that cross? Tell me, crush the devil's head. Fear is just a liar running out of breath. Fight beneath your feet. I'm standing on Jesus' name. Your love stood down dead. Crush the devil's head. Fear is just a liar running out of breath. Fight beneath your feet. I'm standing on Jesus' name. Your love stood down dead. Crush the devil's head. Fear is just a liar running out of breath. Fight beneath your feet. I'm standing on Jesus' name. Let the devil know not today. Whenever I say your name, no, no, not now, not ever again. Let the devil know not today. I'll sing the night into the morning. I'll sing the fear into your praise. I'll sing my soul into your presence. Whenever I say your name, let the devil know not today.
Ah, hello. We have been expecting you. Welcome to Nick's Nuggets. I am Nick and this is Nugget. I get it right this week. Now, it is good to be back because I was a little bit worried last week after we disappear, we end up at the top of this crazy big tall tree and I start to feel a little bit dizzy. But I look at Nugget and he is really happy. And I say, Nugget, why are you so happy? And he say to me, because we at the top of a giant Cocoa Pops tree. And I say, oh no, Nugget, this not a Cocoa Pops tree, this a coconut tree. And now Nugget, he look at me very confused. He never seen no coconut before. And so I say to him, you know what, Nugget? You look a bit like the coconut. And he says, no, I doesn't. And I say, ha ha ha, yes you do. See? Ha 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 ha, you look just like the coconut. But now Nugget, he get grumpy with me and he don't want to talk to me anymore because he think I teasing him. So I say to Nugget, I wonder how I can show you that I still love you. I thinking hard. And then I remember this story. When Jesus was loving his disciples, he'll tell them, I will wash your feet. And so I go to Nugget and I say, Nugget, I'm going to show you I love you. I will wash your feet. But it's a bit of a problem because it's kind of hard to find Nugget's feet. So then I think, what I do now? I know, I can wash his tongue instead. That's pretty easy to find. But this ended up being a bit of a strange experience for both of us. And you know what? I even find a Cocoa Pop stuck on his tongue. That's a bit crazy. But you know what? We've been having some lovely letters from nice children saying they like to watch Nick's Nuggets. This is very exciting. And we even got this amazing letter. I read it to you. This letter, it's from Mr. Sko-Mo. And he say he live in this Puffing Billy house. I don't know where that is. But anyway, he say, Dear Nick's Nuggets, I like to watch your show with my children's, and we like to hear your funny stories, and we like to hear you talking about Jesus. But he also wondering, why do we have these funny pots of paint on the table? So I explain it to you. We have these funny pots of paint because me and Nugget, we've been doing the painting lessons. And you know what? I think I'm getting pretty good. You want to see my painting? This is my painting. That's me and that's Nugget at the house. Pretty good, hey? But you know, Nugget, I don't think his paintings is very good. He thinks it's awesome, but I'm not too sure. You want to see Nugget's painting? Okay. Can I show them? Okay. This is Nugget's painting. You know what? I think it's a bit amateur, so he'll have to keep practicing, but he will get there. And you know what? Other day, I see Nugget sitting at table writing out these cards, and he's writing, "Oh, I love you so much. You're my favorite. I love to spend all the time with you." And I think, oh, Nugget is writing me a lovely card. But then I look, and he's not writing it to me. He's writing it to the Cocoa Pops. Oh, he really loved them Cocoa Pops. But then I think, you know what? It doesn't matter. I'm just glad he enjoyed the Cocoa Pops and they make him happy. So then I asked Nugget, "Nugget, what you want to be when you grow bigger?" And Nugget say to me, "I don't know. I'm not even good at anything." But I say to Nugget, "Well, you know what, Nugget? God knew you even before you were born, and he got this amazing plan for you in your life." And Nugget's eyes, they go really big, and he look at me and he say, "Really? But I only little. I got no plans." And so I tell him the story about the David and Goliath. You know, there was this little boy, he was a shepherd boy. He was called David, and he looked after the sheep all day long. It was probably a bit boring. But anyway, one day he go to fight this big scary giant. He's called Goliath, and he's big and mean and strong. This is bad. But David, he pick up the rock and he dong, and he hit him right in the skull and knock him out flat. And he's gone. He's out like a cold turkey. And Nugget say to me, "Wow, how come this boy David is so brave? Because he only young." And I say to Nugget, "Well, Nugget, when God is with you, he will always help you. And doesn't matter where you are, he will always be with you." And now Nugget looking very, very thoughtful. He thinking about this. That's good. And so I tell Nugget a little bit about the young people that come here at Playford. They singing about God, and they talking about God, and they're worshiping God, and they're learning so much more about how much God loved them. And Nugget get very excited. He say he liked that. He want to do that more too. And so you know what? I talk now to the young people at Playford. You know, God know everything about us. He know when we're happy. He know when we're sad. He know what we feel in our hearts. And he know how much we love the other peoples. So the more we talk to God, the more he helps us to understand things. So I really like to encourage all you young people. Doesn't matter if you're 5 or you're 12 or if you're 18. It doesn't matter. But just constantly talk to God. He loves to hear when you talk to him and when you sing to him. Because God loves you all so very much, and he wants the best thing to happen to you in all your life. So thank you for watching Nick's Nuggets, and we will come back next week. Will you come back next week, Nugget? Good boy. He's a good boy. Okay, bye.
Question number 3 is, what will you tell your grandkids about life in these times? I would definitely tell them that I really did miss my friends, and that even though I wasn't able to be there with them like physically, I was still able to call them every day, spend time with them on the phone calls, laughing, enjoying our time together, just, you know, learning how they're dealing with it. And I was also able to catch up with my old friends, my childhood friends, and see how they're holding up. I will also be telling them that, you know, I was able to get to know my older brothers more on a different level, spending more time together, connect our bond.
It was different from the norm, but overall we remained calm.
I think to tell, if we go through anything like this again, just to make sure you surround yourself with lots of friends that you can Zoom, and also to have internet.
I think just like a lot of people sometimes get annoyed with their friends around them, but when you're in social isolation, you kind of miss them. So I just think living every day.
I think I'd probably tell them that just to enjoy things while we have them, because you could wake up one morning and like sport, for example, has just completely disappeared, and I probably didn't think I'd miss it as much as I have. So just to remember the small things and just enjoy the small things and take joy in the small things.
Tell them how hard it was to go for like months without toilet paper. Like just the stress it puts on the whole family without toilet paper or hand sanitizer is really, really tough.
How I was hailed as a hero because I stayed home and did nothing all day.
We washed our hands a lot.
Yeah, just how we stayed home, and things are good when you stay home.
Isolation, yes. Hand sanitizer and toilet paper, no.
In 2020, there was a toilet paper shortage.
When I was your age, we couldn't buy hand sanitizer. You were the word at the beginning, one with God the Lord Most High. Your hidden glory in creation, now revealed in you, our Christ. What a beautiful name it is. What a beautiful name it is. The name of Jesus Christ, my King. What a beautiful name it is. Nothing compares to this. What a beautiful name it is. The name of Jesus. You didn't want heaven without us. So Jesus, you brought heaven down. My sin was great, your love was greater. What could separate us now? What a wonderful name it is. What a wonderful name it is. The name of Jesus Christ, my King. What a wonderful name it is. Nothing compares to this.
Hey guys, what's up? The other day my mate messaged me and said, James, I'm really worried about how school's going to go. I don't know what to do, I can't contact my teachers. And I said to him, look mate, don't worry, you know, your teachers are going to do the best thing they can for you and you always have me here to help you. So in light of that, I reckon it's a good time for us now to take a moment and pray for our school teachers and other people around our state. So join me in praying and let's do this together. So dear Heavenly Father, I'd just like to take a moment and remember that you're always there for us and you provide for us, and you're going to continue to do that in this tough time. So I just want to take a moment and pray for the school teachers and the SSOs and the Christian pastoral support workers who are always there for the teenagers and for younger children who are needing the help they need to complete their schoolwork. I'd also like to pray for healthcare workers and hospital staff who are doing the best they can to provide care for all people, those with broken arms, those who are sick, and those who just need some help. I'd like to pray for emergency workers, the police, the paramedics, and the fire brigades as they continue to do a fantastic job. But I would also like to pray for people who often don't see the recognition, such as the bankers who are doing the best they can to keep the economy going, the accountants who are there to support families, bakers to make bread, farmers to provide food. And even more so, Lord, I'd like to take a moment to pray for those who have lost their jobs. We know that you always provide for us, and I just want you to remind us that in you we can trust. And that, in saying that, Lord, thank you. Amen.
What are you discovering about God or the church over the last few weeks?
That Jesus knew that we might not love him back. He died for us anyway.
That there's always ways for the message to be spread, whether it's in person or over the internet.
That God is always with us, even in these hard times. We can just rely on God to be there for us.
I think that even though we might not be meeting the church, people still make sure that they can help other people during isolation, because sometimes people don't feel alone. So if you just drop food down or just ring them and say hello, and that you're caring about them.
I just think that in the middle of this we kind of see glimpses of God, and I guess knowing that he is the same God as what it would be at church. He's the same God as you read your devotion or doing your Bible.
I think I've learned something about the importance of the church community, because I think going into this, I didn't think I'd miss the church community on a Sunday morning as much as I have since this virus. So I think just being able to enjoy coming to church on a Sunday, and even though we're not meeting together actively, that we're still within our communities being that beacon of light.
Through all these times of chaos and misery, we can know that God's love is not depleted.
God is with us even in isolation.
That He's still working with us through these unprecedented times, and that He's still working for the church, as we can see through the online services.
Something I've discovered is that I was able to really focus and know that it's not a building that makes us a church, it's us as people that makes us a church. So it doesn't matter if they have locked down the building, it's really us people who are with the church. Because as Jesus said, if 2 or 3 gather my name, I am in the midst of them. And this can mean that you can go with your family in the lounge room and, take time, an hour to 2 hours of worship and praise and, do church.
Well, it's really good to be with you. And again, thank you so much to the Vibers for leading us, through the music and the welcome, and James praying for us. They've got so much joy, so much encouragement, and we're really blessed and encouraged as a whole community. So I hope you have been too. Also, if you were at an Anzac Day morning at the front of your house yesterday, I hope that was a significant time for you as we commemorated the sacrifice of those who have gone before and also those who currently are serving. I don't know if you looked up and down your neighbourhood and got the bugle out, but we hope it was a really rich morning for you today as well. Look, I've just got a few words. I know we've heard from our young ones in isolation, but I've just got a few thoughts to bring you. And And because I think there's something about when our young people lead us, I don't know about you, but it takes me back. I don't have to go back too far, to be honest. Look at me. I'm a young chicken. But some of us have to go back a bit further. But to remember what it was like to have dreams and to have ideas and to be asked, what are you thinking of for your future, and those sort of things. And how quickly as we grow older, do those things seem like, were they the best days, when I was young? But I don't know if you also remember being a young person's not straightforward. And I honestly think, having 4 kids of my own and having worked in schools for a number of years, that being a young person today is actually increasingly challenging. There's so many things wanting to shape and wanting to take them and offer this and offer so many things. So I just want to reflect on a couple of thoughts with you today. It does take me back to a few years ago in the mid-90s. I was dating my wife then, Rachel, and we had gone off with another young fella, Andrew, to the Hillsong Conference in Sydney, about 1995, I reckon. Hillsong, for those who may not know, it's probably the largest church in Australia. They run a conference which is ridiculously good. And so we went, and it blew my mind. I'd never seen anything quite like it. We're driving home, determined to just live for God. Like, that was why I was on this planet. That's what I was going to do. We were inspired. And we got to just out of Oyen. And I don't know a lot about cars, but I was still trying to impress Rachel. So I was out there just checking where I thought, I knew where the fuel went in, but tyres, kicking a few tyres, just making sure everything's fine. And there was a person in the service station looking out at me. And again, I was pretty engaged after Hillsong, and so I found myself just meeting their gaze. And you know what it's like, you meet gaze long enough, you sort of have to acknowledge. And so, how you going? This was all going on while Rachel and Andrew had gone off to refresh themselves and were coming back. Before they returned, this person who I was making eye contact with had come out of the roadhouse with a couple of garbage bags and came up to me. And they said, "Are you heading towards Adelaide?" And I said, "Yes, we are. Tell the truth. I'm a Christian." "Sure. Yeah, we're going to Adelaide." And they said, "Brilliant. Any chance I could get a lift?" Yes. "Yes, you can." "Sure. We have room. Put your garbage bags in the back." At which point Rachel and Andrew came out from their toilets, and they came towards me, and they had a look on their face which is hard to describe quite now, but it was that curious kind of look. Andrew's was that young look of enthusiasm, the youthful. This could be interesting. He was a young guy. Rachel's, on the other hand, was a look of, and I've seen this look a bit later in life, "What do you think you're doing?" And so I said, "This is this gentleman. He's going to be coming with us to Adelaide." It turned out that he actually had to get to Mildura, as we so discovered. But I sat him in the back with Andrew, because already I'm feeling a little bit anxious. I'm feeling like I didn't know this person at all. I didn't know what was in the garbage bags. I don't know if you did this, I started to make up some stories about who this person might be. We left Oyen, it was about 1 o'clock in the morning. We left Oyen, and it'd be fair to say I got up to 110 relatively quickly, and maybe it was just creeping up a little bit, not encouraging that, but I was feeling a little bit anxious. Rachel said to me, "You doing okay? You feeling fine?" I said, Yep, just keen to get home. But as I'm driving, I'm starting to feel just a little uncertain about what I'd just done. You see, because there was a voice in my head that had been running just for a little while, and that was the voice of my mum saying, "Never pick up hitchhikers, never pick up hitchhikers." So that was the voice, and we had some interesting conversations. I think as we talked, he sort of gave us a few different ways about how he came to be in Oyen, so already he was a little bit unsure. And then I started to feel this other feeling, which was one of protection. I thought if something was going to go wrong, like what if this guy had a weapon? Like what if he did? And I've got to do something. So I had a cunning plan. I thought if he does pull out, let's just say pull something out and points it at the back of my head and says, "Stop, pull over," I had a plan. Now this is mid-90s, folks, different world, but I had a plan. You know that lever that sits down, makes your back seat go up and down? Bang! There you go. Knock him right out. Knock it out of his hand. Save the day. That was my plan. The only thing was, and the only challenge to that really, was that I was driving a VL Commodore. And if you know the 1986 VL Commodore, it doesn't have a lever that drops the seat, boom, like that. it's got a winder. So I decided I'd have to be very subtle and then to burst at the end to get there and pin him there so I could disarm. Anyway, this all went on in my head. It turned out to be fine. And as we neared Mildura, I'll never forget what he said to me. He's asked all of us. He said, "Do you guys think I'm normal?" Now, to be honest, I think all of us would say yes. You know, all of us. But we said, yeah, we do. And he said, "Oh, gee, it's good to have friends." Wow. A complete stranger wanted to know from other strangers, was I normal? We could also ask, am I okay? Do you like me? Am I worthwhile? Please tell me. I've never forgotten that. We dropped him off at Mildura. He was going to catch up, I believe, with an ex-girlfriend, and he was arriving at about 4:30 in the morning. So I'm not sure how that finished up. But I've never forgotten that question. And I've got to say, when I've worked with young people over many years, and even now in the life of our community, no matter what age, that question of, am I worthwhile, is still an incredible, and it's probably one of the questions we ask most often. And so I've been reading a bit around, not this question so much, but in the book of Jeremiah. I've been reading a book by Eugene Peterson, trying to find some extra reading time in this time where space is a little more. And it's a book called Running with the Horses. It's really interesting. It's about Jeremiah's life. But I want to draw you to this, thinking of this question, am I all right? Do I fit? Am I worthwhile? Am I valuable? Tell me I am. Have a listen to this in the book of Jeremiah, chapter 1. It says, the word of the Lord came to Jeremiah. He says, before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. And before you were born, I set you apart. And I ordained you to be a prophet to the nations. Incredible phrase. Before you were formed, I knew you. Before anything physical had happened, I, God, knew you. Consider that, folks, as our young people have shared today. Consider as you watch them on screen, saw their enthusiasm and their joy, saw even in that their cry for, what's my life going to be? To be responded to by a God who says, before you were formed, I knew you. Before you were formed, I set you apart. There is a purpose and there is a direction for your life. And that's all before you were formed. It's an incredible confidence. It's an incredible belief to have. To know that God knows you. Knows you better than you know yourself, knows you better than your best friend, knows you better than your partner, better than your Facebook feed, knows you better than. And as we're discovering all year, loves you. Interesting then that Jeremiah should say, his first response is, oh God, oh Lord God, I can't speak because I'm only a youth, I'm only a kid. God had already laid out for Jeremiah what he had set him apart for. And I'm not suggesting all of you this morning, in a sense, are all going to be prophets. Jeremiah had a pretty particular task, but all of us have got a charge with this opportunity and a life to proclaim the good news of God. Now, if you're with us today and Christianity is a new thing for you, then that might be a strange thought to consider that life could be about wanting to let everyone know of how good God is. But certainly for Jeremiah, that was his call. And again, so often when God would say something quite remarkable to us, we immediately go, oh, but not me. His reason was, I'm young. And young really means I don't have the experience. I don't think I've got what it takes. I don't think I'm good enough. How many times have you found yourself saying that, even as we face the situation of the moment? I don't know if I've got what it takes. Or here this morning, that God says, I know you, I love you, I have a plan for you. I was a school chaplain and I did that for 9 years at Heathfield High. Hello to any ex-Heathfield High students or staff, possibly. A really rich time for me. Hopefully it was a rich time for our school as well. I also then spent 3.5 years at Prince Alfred College, so hello to all the PAC folks. Again, both were fine schools. It was such a great time to be amongst it. But one of the things at the end of every year, particularly when the year 12s would leave, is you'd write a message in a yearbook, or you had a t-shirt handed to you and you wrote a message. What I so often used to write, as many of us did who were youth workers, Jeremiah 29, 11 to 13. And if you're sitting there thinking, hang on, I have no idea what Jeremiah 29, 11 to 13 says, well, let me just read it for you today. And what a perfect verse to give a young person who knew God or didn't, but to give a young person to say that there is a future for you. For thus says the Lord, I know the plans I have for you, says the Lord, plans for peace and not for evil, plans to give you a future and a hope. And then you'll call upon me and you'll come and pray to me and I'll listen to you. You'll seek me and find me when you search for me with all of your heart. What an incredible passage of Scripture. I alone know the plans I have. We hear those plans again as we heard in Jeremiah chapter 1. And I would write that quite honestly and faithfully, believing, young person, here's an encouragement for you. There is a God who knows you, a God who has a plan. Trust Him, look for Him, seek. Ironically, I never really looked at the context of that verse, because what we discover is that verse was given to a people who in the years to come would spend 70 years in slavery back in Babylon, out of their homeland, ripped out of their heartland and their country and taken to a foreign country. A country where we hear beautiful psalms like, Lord, how can we sing our songs? We're not home anymore. I used to proclaim to the young people, quite rightly, I think, and I still would today, God has a plan in the future, but it's not going to be straightforward. But His purposes you can trust. You know that God is at work in you, as we heard last week, according to His good purpose, using all things to bring you into His likeness. For I know the plans I have for you. But the road will be a challenge. It will not be straightforward. And we get so much, we tell our young people, your future's going to be awesome. And there is an incredible truth to that. We want our young people to believe. Young people, if you're watching today, we want you to know there is a future and a hope for you. But also hear these words of encouragement that the people who are receiving this, they were going to have some really tough time ahead. And they were going to be encouraged that God was with you, that God who started His work will finish His work in you. So I'm going to wrap this up, because I also discovered another passage in Jeremiah which I love, and I see it in our young people. I see it in our oldies here. I see it in our church. And it's this one. Jeremiah's life, and I'm not going to go into much detail because I don't have time, but Jeremiah's life was a challenge. People didn't like what he was proclaiming. He was calling a people back to God. Leave your old ways. Turn back to God. And he wasn't being received well. He was being accused for it. He was being hurt for it. He was being verbally abused and physically. He was copying it all. And he says this in Jeremiah chapter 20. He says, it's almost like every time I speak and I cry out, because of this word, it results in people reproaching and deriding me, putting me down all the time. This was his life. And again, this is in the 500-600s before Christ, so it's not easy to understand that world so much, but if any of you felt like this, that opposition. And he even said, just have a listen to this. He says, but if I say, so all that's against me, all that I'm struggling with, if I say I will make no mention of him, speaking of God, and not speak any more in his name, if I were to say that, and when I've said that, it's like his word was in my heart as a burning fire shut up in my bones. And I was weary. Oh, sorry, I've got another phrase here. That's right. And I was weary of forbearing it. And I could not endure it. It's almost Jeremiah is saying, if I choose not to speak of the goodness of God and the purposes of God and the love of God, if I just stay silent, my body, my bones, it cries out, I have to. And that was him facing all that he was. So I've been so encouraged seeing that in our people here at Playford, at churches in the north, people who know Jesus Christ. And even when it feels like it's difficult following you, Lord, or it's difficult believing or trusting or hoping, it's almost like within us there's this burning that says, I can't quench it, I can't quiet it. God, you are so good and you're alive in me. And you're alive in this world. So my message is one, hopefully, of encouragement today. Jeremiah is a long book. You can read it for yourself, and it's an incredible journey in one person's life of following his God, trusting God. So young people, you are loved, you are known. He has a plan and a future, but it won't be straightforward. And I pray you will experience, and everyone listening will experience that sense of just knowing that God is God. And I cannot quench that or quieten that down. Bless you. Thanks so much to our young people. Thanks to our team who's brought this together. I'll hand over to the girls and the guys to finish up for us. Bless you. Amen.
Let's sing My Lighthouse.
In my wrestling and in my doubts, in my failures, you won't walk out. Your great love will see me through. You are the peace in my troubled sea. Whoa, you are the peace in my troubled sea. And in the silence, you won't let go. In the questions, your truth will hold. Your great love will lead me through. You are the peace in my troubled sea. Whoa, you are the peace in my troubled sea. My lighthouse, shining in the darkness, I will follow you. Oh, my lighthouse, I will trust the promise. You will carry me safe to shore. Safe to shore. Safe to shore. Safe to shore. And I won't fear what tomorrow brings. With each morning I rise and
want to say to your church family?
Hi, Nugget.
Hang in there, Tony and Dennis. Your milkshakes are coming soon.
Hi.
Hello, and stay strong.
We miss you, Isabel. We hope that we get to see you soon.
Hey guys, I miss you all, and I can't wait until the end of COVID-19 so we can hang out again.
Hi guys, can't wait to hang out again, and I miss you Vibers and Life Group.
I definitely miss you all so much. I hope isolation/quarantine is treating you well, and I hope you all are staying healthy, and I cannot wait to meet you all again. Stay blessed and may God bless you. Thank you.
You're doing great, and hopefully we can all see each other after this and help celebrate God in doing that.
We miss you and we're so excited to see you when this is all over.
Yeah, I think just a verse, just to remember that sort of helped me, and I'm sure the rest of my family, is James 1:3. Now don't quote me on the actual passage. I know it's in James, it's very early on in James, which is consider it pure joy, brothers and sisters, whenever you fall into trials or tribulations of any kind, knowing that the testing of your faith produces hope, and hope produces perseverance, so that you'll be perfect in lacking nothing. So, yeah.
Preach it, Josh. Well, thank you so much for watching, and we'll hope to see you soon. Bye. For
Don't
now.
watch Do Perfect.
Yeah, watch this space.
Like and subscribe.
That's all, guys. Thank you.
Bye.
Hi guys, I really hope you enjoyed today's service.
It was a bit different, but it was really good. I think the Vibers did an amazing job.
Hopefully we can see you next week.
Bye.
The elevator's broken.
We'll have to take the stairs. Bye.
We've been expecting you. I'm Nick, and this is Nugget. Ah! This is bad.
This is a very unpleasant surprise. So this is bad. I am Nick. This is Nugget. Good Nugget.
What's that, Nugget? Oh, Nugget wanted me to tell you that wheat pix are bad. Cocoa Pops are good. This is good.
For breakfast, Nugget had Cocoa Pops. This is good. For lunch, he had Cocoa Pops. This is bad. For dinner, he had Cocoa Pops. This is very bad.
Hello, we have been expecting you. I am not Nick, and this is not Nugget. There is Nugget. Nugget! This is bad. Don't be like Nugget. Eat some Cocoa Pops. That is good.